Hey everyone, I am Dr. Dylan Beckus here with the lovely Catherine, and she's here to share some great inspiration and motivation. She's not going to yell at you to run over some hot coals, but what she can help with is sharing her that should be a different show segment, but she's going to share her journey with her sleep issues and where she was at because it's always helpful when like you find something online and you're doing something. Yes, when we first start out, everything's great, but as we progress in the journey, it's like, okay, well, I only have so much energy, I have so much time, I want to do things that work,
Mhm.
and as many graphs and charts I can show you. That's one thing. And then another thing is real life people who have gone through something very similar as you have. So that's what we're here to do today. And so I want to welcome Catherine. Welcome to the show. We don't have a name for the show, but we call it the Catherine
Thank,
Show.
thanks so much, Dr. Dillon. So happy to be here and share.
Of course, of course. So we're gonna start where it all began. So when did you first start you don't need to give me an exact date, but like what was going on for you? Like you started to first notice you had some sleep or energy issues. When was the radar going off of like this isn't just a little bit of sleep problems or a little bit of fatigue? When was that for you?
Well, when I was in my early 30s, I had chronic fatigue and immune deficiency syndrome, and so my energy plummeted, but I was sleeping a lot. Um, but then about a decade later, I was in my early 40s, maybe 42, maybe 43. My sleep just went to hell in a handbasket, and I had always been a good sleeper, and I had always needed a lot of sleep. I would take like a 3 hour nap either Saturday or Sunday afternoon, typically. And I was always looking, and my mother said when I was a toddler, I would put myself to bed. I knew I needed my sleep. So, and then later, not a very long time into that, I was diagnosed with perimenopause, which is the premenopause phase. And so it was, my hormones were screwed up. And I went another 23 years without getting those fixed because I'm 66 years old and I met you last summer, so 65 and a half. So it took
Mhm.
me a long time to find the right solution. When I was in full-blown menopause a few years later, I went on Lexapro. My doctor wanted me to do that, and I didn't like it at all. It was a flatliner, and so I took myself off. And then I learned later, oh, you should only take yourself off under doctor supervision. And then I had the chronic fatigue syndrome. I had started on the path of naturopathic work, and so I was always seeing different naturopathic physicians, taking lots of supplements, leaving no stone unturned, is what I said. So I had been struggling with my sleep, and I had been using a lot of over-the-counter sleep aids. Only later to learn that, and directly, like from people, I had a client who was using Tylenol PM because she had to get up at 4 o'clock one day a month for her board meeting, and and then she just recently passed away from Alzheimer's. She had Alzheimer's for like 15 years. It was horrible. So I started realizing, oh, and the thing I used was, I can't think it was an allergy medicine, Benadryl. And then I read about, before I knew about the Tylenol PM with her, I knew the Benadryl was now affecting people's brains and causing more Alzheimer's or dementia of some kind. So it was a long struggle um, to find you and get ready to get some permanent and real meaningful solutions.
Yeah. And when did sleep apnea come onto the radar for you or
Well,
concerns around?
in May of 2024, I had my first Afib incident, and
Hmm.
they said it was likely caused by sleep apnea. And my wife had been, she was diagnosed with Alzheimer's in 2015, just mild cognitive impairment at that time. And at some point, they wanted her to go for a sleep apnea test. So we met with like this case manager person first, face to face. We lived in Phoenix at that time. And they gave us like a little page with like 10 symptoms. And I had more symptoms than she did, but I didn't realize the seriousness of the sleep apnea. And so I just poo-pooed it. I was like, oh, and I've been self-employed for 30 years. And so as I aged, my insurance got more expensive and my benefits from my insurance got less and less. And so I really didn't feel like I could afford to invest in the sleep apnea tests and stuff. I didn't know, I thought I'd have two or $3,000 out of pocket. It was more than I could afford. I rationalized. And plus, I didn't know the long-term impact of it. We call this AFib situation where I have this irregular heartbeat. So,
Hmm. Yeah.
yeah, so a long time coming.
So for the viewers at home, wherever you are, I never know where to look in these like I'm like looking over here and it's probably very disorientating. So I guess I'll look into the camera for you at home and don't get freaked out by that zoom in. But AFib is atrial fibrillation. It means essentially your heart, the top chambers are trying to contract in a synchronized fashion. When they're in AFib, they're not. So think of it like this. You have a tube of toothpaste. Usually, if you're nice and coordinated, you can just roll that thing up, toothpaste comes out, everybody's great. However, if you just try to open it or like push out the toothpaste by like lightly tapping it with your 10 fingers out of sync, that's not going to do anything. So that's what AFib fundamentally is. You can't move blood out. Now it happens because when you have sleep apnea, you're basically jolting your heart every single time you stop breathing at night. So that's how that can lead to that. So just for the science aside, cut out, a little segment there. But the other thing I wanted to highlight is also it is almost like it's never just like sleep apnea in isolation. I know we talk about that a lot, but there's so many things that are connected to it. Whether it's beforehand, like you were saying with chronic fatigue, and like lots of other people have issues, whether it's like metabolic, cardiovascular, brain, right?
Brain.
Because when you can't sleep, or if you're sleeping inefficient, like you mentioned, your body is not repairing itself. That's
Right.
like one bad thing. And then the second big whammy is that now instead of just missing out on repair at night, now you're also damaging on top. So it's like you've gone from not taking your car to the mechanic to not only do you not take your car to the mechanic, but you also take your Toyota Camry uh like where do they ride Jeeps? Like what do they call that? Like mudding or like
Oh yeah, yeah, off-roading.
off-roading? Yeah, you also take your
Hmm.
Toyota Camry off-roading, which is like those two don't go together very
Right.
well.
No maintenance and
No maintenance.
off-roading.
And Toyota
Right.
Camrys are a great car, by the way. Anyway, so all right, so you're going to that, and so then May, when you're starting to pick up and be like, okay, oh, I'm not doing so well in the MoCA, which is probably what that test was. It's a cognitive sort of survey. I'm not doing well in that, and I have this history, and now my sleep, and then, oh, I'm not breathing very well at night. Then from there, like, what were your initial thoughts? And like, all right, what am I gonna do about, this new aspect of my health? What were you looking at? What were you trying?
Well, I have a lot of friends on AFib, because of my age, 66. My friends are my age or older because my wife is older. So I had a lot of friends her age. And then so a lot of friends, I don't know if I said AFib, but they had the sleep apnea. They were using CPAPs. And I did not want to travel with a CPAP. I did not want to put all those straps around me. I knew that I would be claustrophobic. And so before I met you, I bought some meditation thing. It might have been from you, but it was a breathing meditation. And I had the claustrophobia just trying to learn how to breathe with my mouth closed as I was falling asleep. So I knew I was faced with a serious issue. So I was just researching anything that popped up on Facebook. And the Facebook algorithms, the more you click on something now, that's all you see.
Listening.
So, um, so anyway, I was looking for solutions and I found you last summer and I bought like a little booklet or something from you and I can't remember how it got started. And I also the people that told me the meditation, I bought a strap from them. It took months and months because it came from China. It's real cheap, but it was designed to put around my chin to keep my mouth closed. So I tried that and so I just was desperate for solutions. And I remember saying to the cardiologist, nurse practitioner, I'm only an AFib 1% of the time instead of like 100% of the time. And so I don't get to see the cardiologist. I have to meet him out in the community and introduce myself as his patient. But I have been working closely with his nurse practitioner. And I said to her, I can't do it. I can't do a CPAP. I just know I can't do it. And she said, well, and then this was after I had met you. So I knew all about the bacteria and everything like that. That just gave me the creeps. And I'm real sensitive to mold. I can't eat leftovers. because I'm sensitive to mold. So I knew, I'd have to do extra care on the CPAP machine. And she said, you have to do the CPAP. She was adamant, adamant. And I said, no, I'm going to do Dr. Dillon's 90-day program. And oh no, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. So anyway, so that's we're here now, and I still no CPAP, so I'm very happy about that.
Awesome. Excellent.
And
Before we
I'm
talk,
sleeping 8 to 10 hours a night. On the weekends, I can sleep 10 hours, and during the week, because I have to set alarm because I still work part-time, I can easily sleep 8 hours,
nice, nice.
which is really what I need.
Oh yes. Oh yes. Different people have different sleep needs. Not everybody's. I mean, the
Mhm.
range is 7 to 9 hours. Okay, everyone.
Mhm.
Right. So okay, one thing I'll unpack there. So when you first saw us, because I think Facebook will hear you snore. I think that I'm not going to say it's untrue, but I think it's true. So you found us. What were the initial thoughts? Was it like breathing or something? Okay, or was it more so like anything but CPAP? What were what
Yeah,
was the initial?
anything with definitely the anti-CPAP. That's what got my attention. And I didn't have any idea of how it would relate to the AFib or how it would relate to, hormonal issues. I didn't have any of those insights at all. It was just a huge awakening for me to work with you and to get aspects. And if you remember, I came into the program in really bad physical shape. I had
Hmm.
just come back from vacation and I was dehydrated and all, even though I've had dehydration issues for 15, 20 years, because when we lived in Phoenix, we would go up to Colorado every summer and we'd always have, Bonnie and I would both always have those issues. So here I'm drinking something with electrolytes in it, not knowing it's not high quality. And I had some altitude sickness and I had just fatigue. And I was so fatigued that I couldn't do more than 2 or 3 emails a day. Now I'm not working full time, so I'm not killing myself, but still 2 or 3 emails a day, that's all I could do so many days. And then I got connected with you later that month and you got me on the right electrolytes and the right Celtic salt, and then I got an ear infection, and you had something to say about that. It advised me. And then I got 2 strains of the flu in October, mid to late October.
Really smooth
So
sailing. So you went through those bumps, and then what were some of those initial like big wins that you had? Like like you're on the right track. What was that for you?
I don't remember exactly, a week or two, 10 days. My energy shot up. I had more energy than I had could ever remember having as an adult.
Hmm. And where do you notice that? Like whether it's interacting with your wife or work or just things around the house? Like where do you notice those big shifts the
Everywhere,
most?
everywhere. Everywhere. Now that's not to say that I don't get tired by, 4, 5, 6 o'clock in the evening. I still get a little fatigued, but it's not the same. I used to call it, I hit a brick wall. So different times of the week or different times of the day, depending on what my calendar had looked like. And when I was working full time, this happened a lot. I would just hit a brick wall and I couldn't even think. I couldn't think about what did we need at the grocery store. Not that I ever had to go to the grocery store because Bonnie had always done that. But in the years that she hasn't, I couldn't even think about what was it I needed to get at the grocery store. Or I know there was an errand I needed to run now. I can't think of it. And I just didn't have the energy to go out, get in the car and run that errand. So that brick wall stuff is completely gone and I can cook a full meal. Not that I do that every night, but I make myself a fish soup with Old Bay seasoning, and I eat that 4 or 5 times a week for supper. And my wife eats a little mini frozen pizza. That's what she wants to eat. And but I still cook, once a week or once every 2 weeks. And so I have the energy to do those kind of things and socialize more in the evenings and just enjoy life more. I go to the gym. I'm trying to go to the gym. It's hard. I have to get a sitter, so it's expensive for me to go to the gym, but I'm going at least once a week. And then I'm getting a sitter to go to once a week yoga at the Y. So I'm going twice a week. And I had the energy to start exercising locally. There, we live across the street from a big park with a lot of stairs. So anyway, just the ability to exercise more, ability to not hit that brick wall, and then ability to start sleeping more.
Hmm.
Right away I started sleeping. more than my usual 3 to 5 hours.
Just doubled it casually, you know.
Right. Oh, it was life changing. I mean,
Gotcha.
yeah. I used to say, sleep deprivation is a terrible thing, because you're just so ornery and agitated.
Oh yes, oh yes. Awesome.
Yeah.
So then
Yeah.
so things are much better now. And
Mm.
and so what would you say to yourself like when like from where you are right now to like when you first started to have sleep problems? Like you were in the doctor's office and going through the mo well, I mean kind of going through it by half your wife, but really alongside at the same time. What would you say to Catherine then having the sleep problems, knowing what you know now?
Well, I've said for a long time that our health is our wealth. I believe, since when I was like 32, when I was diagnosed with chronic fatigue syndrome, and 70% of the people that have that can never work again. And I found a naturopathic MD. He's an MD by training, but he was using naturopathic approaches, got my health back. And, but I've known all ever since, oh yeah, my wealth is my health. I have to invest in my health. But it was like I was coming from a reactive, after the fact perspective. And now my mindset is, okay, well, what naturopathic approaches can I use to proactively? Like when I got the flu, I had 2 strains in October, and then on February 6th, I came down with the flu again. And so right away, oh, my neti pot. I hadn't been doing my neti pot. And I don't even use a neti pot anymore. I use a little Walgreens plastic thing, so it's so much easier. You don't have to get your head just, exactly right. And but guess what? I started doing my neti pot, picked it right back up because I could hear your voice in my head.
Excellent.
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah, yeah,
have achieved. We have
yeah, you've
achieved
achieved, yes.
assimilation there.
Yeah,
Cool. Awesome. So
yeah.
yeah, so that there's Catherine's journey of where unfortunately an uncommon not an uncommon one, which I always struggle with that saying, because why would you say not uncommon? Anyway,
Hmm.
you gotta use two double
It's
negatives.
prevalent.
It's rather
Hmm.
a silly phrase, but prevalent, yeah, let's just go with prevalent of where having sleep issues, yes, and then also like in a flurry of a bunch of different things, right? Because
Hmm.
we could have just pinned it on hormones. We could have pinned it on. We could have even said like, "Oh, women don't get sleep apnea, or they don't have breathing problems." We could have done
Mm,
that, but
mm,
really by addressing, metabolic things, breathing, sleep, and all of that, here you are today,
mm,
doing a lot better, having
mm.
more energy for yourself, your wife, things you want to do,
Yeah,
all because
right.
you took action. You've been a,
Right.
uh,
She's aging rapidly. Every day she's going down. I gotta be with her
mhm,
when she's wants to be with me and have those little moments of joy. I mean, that's we've been together 43 years next month. I can't cut corners with, my
yeah,
relationship with my wife. I have to be there for her, and I want to be there. So
hmm
yeah, now I have the energy to be there with her in a better way.
yeah, that's what it's
Yeah.
all about. And that was great. Thank you so much
No, thank
for
you.